There it is. Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm so glad everybody joined. And I do want to there's not a ton of us on. And so I do want to kind of just run through first and just really say thank you. I think that this is going to be huge for so many reasons. Just talking with Abby, who I'll chat about in just a second. She's a sweet soul. And she has brought me along in this journey so far, and just has a wealth of information and knowledge just about all things in life. And then we also have Terri with us today, who I've only known a short time, just like Abby, just through actual voicemail, kind of. We were talking about that. And just, you know, you get a sense from people that I always just say good people, and that's what they are. These two ladies are phenomenal just in what I've just gained from them in the short, just few weeks. Abby is a military spouse as well. And her husband is actually over in training on the other side of base. So we've been able to connect and scare each other about how we have way too much in common. It's terrifying, actually. But half the time when we see each other, we have the same outfit on. But she's awesome. She is honestly been a blessing. So we hope to have many more adventures together. And she's got a lot to chat about with just anxiety and this journey that she's been on. And Terri as well has had an amazing journey so far. And just to hear her speak, even when she just says, "Hi, Candace," she's just, she's awesome. So I just kind of want to start off by just saying, I want to recognize a couple people in the beginning, and just, I know that I haven't seen several of you guys there's Andrea.
Hi, sorry.
It's okay. It says Ange, and I was like, who's Ange?
I know, I think my brother set it up. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Just like Mary Helen, I almost cried when I saw your face. I'm so excited. So anyways, I really wanted to have a reason to bring everybody together. Those who know me very well, who have I would say, hopefully say that they were fortunate enough to work with me and not unfortunate, that they've had to listen to me about wellness a time or two, and know that it's something that is just very near and dear to my heart. And that's kind of where this all started. So knowing after I departed from Levi's, you know, it was a hard time for me. And I know that those who have read my blog know how transparent that's been for me. And so, you know, I wanted to start a new path and a new journey. And the only way that I knew to do that was, how could I continue to help people? That's the number one thing that I loved about my job at Levi's. You know, I helped people with jeans, but I learned so much more on how to help people on a day-to-day basis. Just the connection and the conversation that you have with people when you go to work every day. It's amazing working for such an iconic company, how we were able to help people. So the best way I knew to do it started a couple of months ago when I decided to go down a wild goose hunt with how I could create a new lifestyle approach. So that's kind of where I scratched the surface. And I started that with Chris, my friend Chris Mowring, and my other friend Cindy Cedillo. And they both really honestly have been amazing. And I started them on this new, I don't even have a name for it yet, but it's like a low carb, not really keto, but it's a low carb approach, just to kind of get people in the mindset where you can still have a life outside, you know, and enjoy yourself and eat what you want, but just learning swaps and things that you can just feed your body with nutrition still, and see results. And so with Chris, her son Cade also joined, going against this as well. At first we were so nervous, but he's joined and he's lost 20 pounds just with taking this route. Chris has lost, I think, 8 pounds we're at 8. And then Cindy is at, we were right, almost, we're at 11. I'm going to say 11 pounds because 11, almost to 12, because we're not going to say anything about there's no gaining weight because she's been consistently losing.
Way to go.
She has. And you know what? The biggest thing is that's where I started. And then that's where I met Abby. And so I want to say up front, before I go into the next part of the journey with Chris and with Cindy, while I have everyone on here, and I'm not trying not to get emotional, but my new blog post actually talks a lot about approval and being yourself no matter what. And just, pursuing your path on how you feel you'll be happiest. And Chris and Cindy have honestly been a huge support to me in so many ways they don't even know probably. Just from me knowing Chris for like 10 years and knowing that she doesn't give herself enough credit. And she always tries, but she doesn't give herself enough credit. To see her really just grab the bull by the horns with this and make some life changes has been amazing. So I just really want to say thank you to Chris for that. And then she brought Cindy along. Poor Cindy. She's been super excited about this path as well. So she's always open. Just yesterday, I was texting with her, with Cindy, and she asked for some feedback, and I gave her some feedback, and she just takes it with, so much appreciation and just open-mindedness. So these are people that I want to surround myself with. I'm so fortunate to have in my life. So with that, I'm glad to have them on here, one, to give them this recognition, and two, to kind of, with Abby and with Terri, just hearing what their messages today, which kind of takes me into when I met Abby. I was at my wit's end, and those that know me with Aiden, we struggle with Aiden, with him eating fruits and vegetables. And right before I met up, or actually I saw a post on Facebook from Abby. It was just out of the blue. It was so interesting. It was almost like God placed her there. I was beside myself. I had just left the doctor where they, in a not so nice way, told me that I, in so many ways, wasn't really mothering the right way, that my child was pre-diabetic, that he was going down a path that we would have a very hard time to turn him around on. And everyone knows that he's high functioning autism. He struggles with a lot of things. He physically can't eat vegetables. He has a sensory issue where if it's a taste or a consistency, he will gag and he will vomit that up. That's Aiden. And so I just didn't know what else to do. So I have been researching on many ways. And so I came across Abby just on Facebook on one of our spouses groups, and she has Juice Plus, and that's what started me down that route. So she, right away we got together. Aiden, she had probably gave me most of her samples she had, which I appreciate. He took right to them. It's like their gummy version, and he took right to them. And I have to say, this has been 4 weeks now, almost 5. And in the last week, he now eats carrots and he eats asparagus. And he doesn't gag on them. He doesn't, it's crazy to me. He's actually lost 3 pounds, because what he does is he takes his gummies in the morning. That's what we do first. And then he, I don't know what it is. He's not starving. He's not asking for food all day. And then in the afternoon, when he wants his snack, we do shakes. We do the complete shakes. He likes the chocolate version with banana. And so he's getting a vegetable there as well. So I'm already seeing a difference with him. And I know a lot of people who know me know that I research the heck out of things, and I am a harsh critic, and it's not easy to really get me convinced on things. But I could cry at how just supportive this has been for Aiden. And I am just so excited to see where we can go with that. So those are the three things that I'm right now so grateful for as we're about to go through another huge life change with Sean departing in less than a week on Monday for a year. So, having Aiden on a new path, having such an awesome support system, especially now on Abby, with Abby and all of her amazing friends that she's introduced me to. And then also sweet Terri has had so many encouraging words already. So I am just super appreciative to share them with you guys today. Hopefully you guys learned something, a thing or two. And yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I will talk all day and night. So what I'm going to do is turn it over to Abby and let her kind of take the reins on what she's going to share about her journey with anxiety and kind of where she's at today. So Abby, take it away.
Thanks, Candace. Appreciate it.
Sure.
I'm sure you all know what a gem Candace is. I mean, she's in your life and you're in hers. But the way that we met, as she kind of briefly alluded to, was just totally crazy. I mean, I was blown away. I was actually visiting Terri at the time, and I was like so excited. I was excited because I felt like I had met someone, not even in person yet, who was like-minded and very similar. And we have come to know each other over the last month and a half. And we have so much in common. And so she is a gift, as I'm sure you all know and love and appreciate about her. But I just needed to say that because I think there are no coincidences in life. I think that everything happens for a reason. And I know that this year has probably been a whirlwind. Not probably, it has been a whirlwind for all of us. The whirlwind has looked different for every single person. And I know that this year, for a lot of people, health and realizing the importance of it has become a priority. To what degree, I think for every person that's different, but that's the beauty of the journey of health, is it looks different for every person at different times. And so I am excited to kind of share a little bit of my story with you, a little bit more about Juice Plus, and then Terri can share hers. But for those of you that don't know what Juice Plus is, it's fruits and vegetables that are juiced and dried, the entire fruit and veggie put into a capsule or chewable form. All of the nutrients is maintained, and then you get to consume it day in and day out. So you're getting 30 different vine ripened fruits and vegetables, and the power of fruits and vegetables is incredible. And I was a person that was a skeptic. I didn't believe that something this good could actually exist. And I did not make my health a priority until illness knocked on my door. So I was getting ready to go to college about 6 years ago. And I had grown up as a ballerina for 15 years, normal diet, normal childhood, all of the things. And illness knocked on my door. I was not able to consume gluten, and I was going to the bathroom every time I ate. I could not keep food in. And to give you a visual of myself, I was 5'8" and about 100 pounds. I literally looked skin and bone. And it was not by my doing, but I literally would eat and immediately go to the bathroom. And I was like, what the heck is going on? And not long after all of these issues started, did the anxiety and the depression follow suit. And I don't know if you know this, but 95% of our serotonin is held in the lining of our gut. Doctors are saying our gut is now the second brain. And so when your gut is out of whack, your entire body is out of whack. You cannot function and perform the way that you should. And so the anxiety and the depression came flooding in, and I was like, where the heck did this come from? I had never struggled with it, and I was just blindsided. All of these thoughts, and if you struggled with anxiety before or depression, you know it is scary, it is hard, it is a dark place to be in, and you will do anything to get out of it. And so I had been on this journey for quite some time, and I remember saying to my mom, I can't do this anymore. I need to go see a doctor. And so I was in school at the time, so I really didn't have a strong relationship with the doctor that I saw, but they asked me a series of questions and, said, okay, yeah, you're anxious, you're depressed, and sent me on my way. I never received a follow-up call, but I started to get addicted to the medication in about 10 days. And every time 2 o'clock would roll around at about 20 years old, I was grabbing for the pill bottle. And I was like, this is not the life that I feel I was called to live. I said, I will do anything. I will go the natural route, figure out what I need to do, but I am not going to be the person that grabs for the pill bottle at 20 years old. And so I was like, I'll see a holistic health doctor. So I went and I saw a holistic health doctor, and thank goodness my parents had the funds to be able to pay for that, because it cost us thousands of dollars to be on 40 different supplements and have scans done and all of these things. And at this point, I've also eliminated dairy from my diet because I started to have the same issues again. So I got the gluten under control, and then the dairy happened, and I was going to the bathroom and losing weight again. And so we're about 3 years into my journey here, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I can't keep taking 40 things a day. You know, I had made progress, but not enough to really continue paying that kind of money for those kinds of, not the results that I wanted. And so I was frustrated, and I just was kind of at a standstill. And it was my final semester at school. My mom came to me and she said, Abby, I have something that I really think could benefit you. And she handed me these Juice Plus bags. And I remember looking at my mom like she had 4 heads. And I said, you think fruits and vegetables are going to fix me? And she was like, I really do. And I kind of took them haphazardly. I was grumpy. I was in a terrible mood all the time. I mean, you can ask my family, you can ask my now husband. I was miserable. And I hate that I was that way. But when you feel crappy, you're not your best self. And so I finished school, I graduated, and I got married to my now husband, and he deployed. And I was at home for just a few months before I moved to Abilene. And I remember my mom having this moment with me where she looked me in the eyes and she said, I want you to be consistent with Juice Plus. She said, I really believe if you give this a year, it'll change your life. And so I said, fine, I'll give it a year. I have nothing to lose. And so I gave it a year. And over that year, I experienced some radical changes in my health. I was able to eat food and not be nauseous, which was huge, because I'd usually be on the couch for about 2 hours after I ate with nausea. I'd go to the bathroom and then I'd be nauseous for about 2 hours. So eating was never fun. You know, it's a very social thing for me now. I was like, if I can avoid eating, I'll just feel better. But you have to eat to survive and function and all of the things. And so the nausea went away. And then I was able to consume some gluten. And then towards the end, months 9 and 10, the anxiety and the depression started to go away. My energy was through the roof. I was addicted to caffeine in college. I couldn't get through the day without a nap. And I was just blown away. And I will tell you here, at the beginning of 2018, I made a decision. I made a decision that anxiety was not going to rule my life anymore. And so I said, I will do whatever I have to do. So I started moving my body every day. I started consuming Juice Plus every single day. I started taking my thoughts captive. I started drinking only water and drinking a cup of coffee, 1 cup of coffee a day. I made some radical changes, but I was at a radical point in my life where I had to make those changes or I knew nothing was going to change. And so all of that to say, my journey, I was a complete believer in Juice Plus, and I was like, holy smokes, this has changed my life. How can I not tell people about this? Because what if my mom hadn't shared it with me? What if she hadn't said, Abby, take a look at this? And so I often think that we don't take a look at our health until disease knocks on our door. Because why would we examine ourselves if everything feels good and normal? Well, the biggest thing that I can encourage you to do if you haven't had disease or illness knock on your door is it is very expensive to be sick. No matter what that sickness looks like, it's expensive to be sick. And so if you can start taking care of yourself now, no matter where you are in your life, it is never too late. It is never too late to make simple changes with your life. And so really that's the charge that I want to leave you with, is simple changes. And I'm excited to turn it over to Terri. She's going to share a little more of her story with you and some simple changes. And then we'll kind of wrap up with another amazing piece of our community. So Terri, take it away, friend.
Hey, thank you, Abby and Candace. Thank you for asking me to share, with your friends and family. Thank you for trusting. I appreciate that very much. And I want to start off something was just put on my heart. Disease is aging and aging is disease. And Abby, you were aging way too quickly. And Candace, your son, was starting to age way too quickly. And my health story goes back, let's go back in time, 35 years ago. A fitness professional, I'm the girl in the front of the room that held the microphone, said step touch, step, slide, spin, high impact, low impact classes. And I was aging very, very quickly. 35 years ago, they started throwing out autoimmune labels, and I started catching all of them. First, it was unbelievable periodontal disease. They told me I would not have teeth by the time I was going to be 40 because my mouth was so inflamed. And then, like Abby, the gut health gave out. It didn't matter what I ate. Within 20 minutes, I was doubled up in the bathroom somewhere. They labeled it IBS. And then about 2 years later, they said, no, you have a very rare Crohn's disease, and you will have Crohn's disease for the rest of your life. This is what your life will look like. So of course, if your digestive health is not working, 80% of your energy all day long is spent trying to digest your food. So here I am not digesting my food, not absorbing nutrition, and I'm exhausted 24/7. So the next label is, of course, chronic fatigue syndrome. And by the time I'm 35, the new label is fibromyalgia. I was desperate. I'm raising 3 boys with learning issues. All of my kids had severe learning issues, and I'm seeking and I'm looking, and 27 years ago, a nurse in my neighborhood who I didn't even know heard about me, and she started calling me, telling me she had something that she felt could help me, and it was Juice Plus, fruits, vegetables, and berries in capsule form. And I invited her to come to visit. I mean, I needed help. And she walked through the door, and I looked at the label, and I saw, you know, kale, broccoli, beets, cabbage, spinach, carrots, tomatoes, peaches, pineapples, cranberries, acerola cherries, blueberries, blackberries, elderberries, grapes. And I just said, dear Lord, something good has got to happen, because it's pre-digested food. See, my gut was not going to digest produce or much of anything. But when it's pre-digested, there was something captivating and compelling about that. And I said yes. And over the course of the next year, my body started to heal. I started sleeping. And people with autoimmune conditions don't get into that deep REM sleep. And I started to sleep. My body started to recover. And after a year, I was able to hold a microphone and go back and stand in front of that room and say step touch and all of those wonderful things. But I'm curious by nature. What is it about Juice Plus? What was it about concentrated produce that my body responded? And I'm going to take you back to the very first doctor, Hippocrates, who said 500 years before Christ walked the planet, he said, let your food be your medicine, let your medicine be your food. He was not talking about Kraft macaroni and cheese, Pop-Tarts and Twinkies. He was talking about what grows in the garden. And today in our society, we have totally deviated from eating from the garden, and we rely on processed food. So what's the result of that? Look at the statistics. Cancer, 1 out of 3, 1 out of 2. Heart disease, 1 million Americans will die from cardiovascular disease. Epidemic of diseases among children. You know, we're talking about the asthma, the allergies. All of these things are a ramification of what Hippocrates continued to say, where he said, all disease starts in the gut. All disease. Inflammation sets in our bodies because of our gut issues. And so I thought I would just I've only got about 5 more minutes here. So there's a couple things. Where does this inflammation come from? Well, we are genetically designed at the cellular level to eat roots, fruits, greens, beans, seeds, and weeds. Shall I repeat? Roots, fruits, greens, beans, seeds, and weeds. And we've evolved into a society that eats meat, sweets, pies, fries, cake, shakes, chips, and dips. And we're now into our 3rd generation of relying on processed foods that cause inflammation in the body. Now, there's a lot of things like the environment and air and water and the soil that all come into this. But the things that we have control over are the things that we eat that are in aisles 4, 5, and 6 of the grocery store. So the thing, I call it the 3 Ps. Food that's prepackaged, preservatives, filled with additives, are some of the most inflammatory things that we can buy. And our gut becomes inflamed, and then we set ourselves up for disease. All of you, take a look at this. Can you tell me what this is?
Donut?
It's a donut. Anybody want to guess how old this donut is?
Oh, no.
Anybody want to take a guess?
I thought it was a bagel, so a year old.
That's a good guess. Anybody else want to guess?
10 years old.
10. Okay, my donut is 27 years old. And I have French fries right here that look like the day that I bought them, and they're 27 years old. And this, my friends, is what's making us ill. If a self-respecting bacteria will not attack this, neither should we. Science found a way to take an oil, change the molecular structure of it, put it in food so that it would have a shelf life of forever. And our bodies cannot digest and absorb, and we become self-polluting machines. So there's the herb, there's the all of the processed chemicals that go into that. But I'm going to leave you today with two ideas, because as we are approaching the holidays, okay, there's something that we can take control of, and that is how much sugar. Be aware of how much sugar we are consuming. Sugar is a drug, and we addict. When we eat sugar, it becomes an acid in the body. That acid is called carbonic acid, and it deteriorates the integrity of the cell. Cells become tissues, organs, and then systems. So every system is affected when we eat sugar. It causes nerve damage, it deteriorates brain function, it breaks down our immune system. And in this day and era of epidemic of disease, and I'm not allowed to say that C word, okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. The integrity of our immune system should be forefront of what we do. And sugar will deteriorate that. Abby, sugar causes depression, headaches, moodiness, exhaustion. It affects your serotonin, your dopamine, okay? And it causes inflammation. And so we need help. We need help. We can't, there's not many of us that are going to go back to eating a plant-based diet without help. And that's where Juice Plus comes in, all right? It is the catalyst for change. It works at the cellular level. It changes health. It reduces inflammation. It supports the immune system. And Candace, you said that, your son already is not hungry all the time. That's because his cells are satisfied. When our cells are not satisfied, we're in the pantry 24/7. I'll try this, let me try that, let me try that. And what our cells need is the plant kingdom. Your son is satisfied. Abby, the serotonin levels started to explode because your gut was properly nourished. So we need help. And Juice Plus is that help, because here's the deal. 100 years ago, today we eat about 138 pounds of sugar per year. 100 years ago, we ate 5 pounds of sugar per year. We are addicted. And one of the things that you're already seeing, Candace, and I'm seeing across the board, I've been doing this for 27 years, is that Juice Plus affects your metabolic programming. And over time, you start to lose your craving for this. It starts to lose its appeal, and you start to crave more plants. So not only does it affect the immune system, stabilizes all the systems, reduces inflammation, but it changes your craving. So I can't encourage all of you to take a serious look at Juice Plus. Kick the tires, because here's my promise. When we are properly nourished, we become self-healing machines. Your body is a self-healing machine when it's properly fueled. Thanks for putting up with me.
Always, any day.
I love it. Okay, well, I want to share one more thing with you guys before I let Candace kind of close it out. I want to share something with you called our Shred program. Whether starting Juice Plus is something that you want to be a part of, or making simple changes in your life, what that looks like. Maybe you're like, I want to take this by the horns and kick it to the curb. Our amazing Shred program is a 10-day program that we do every month. You're eliminating the things that aren't serving you and adding the things that do. You're incorporating the Juice Plus products and eliminating things like gluten, dairy. I'm going to share this little picture with you here so you have a nice visual. I'm a visual learner. So you can see you're adding more plants in the Juice Plus capsules. 1 to 2 of our complete shakes, which are gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free, non-GMO, low glycemic, tons of water, lots of deep breaths and sleep, exercising most days. You're eliminating caffeine and alcohol. You're doing intermittent fasting. So fasting for 12 hours, if that's 6 to 6 or 7 to 7. processed foods, gluten and dairy, artificial and refined sugars. And so this is an amazing program that we just host at the beginning of every month for 10 days. And so I tell you, you can do anything for 10 days. This is an amazing program that's not a fad diet, but it's going to literally propel you, take you on a journey to better health more than you could ever even imagine. I know there may be a few things on this list that hook you up or make you a little bit nervous, but I promise you those first few days are a little bit hard as your body is detoxing. And then it's like, holy smokes, I've never felt better. You don't realize that you can live without caffeine, and that, you know, gluten and dairy are not serving you. My parents are big shredders. And over a 3-month period, so 30 days total, my mom did 3 different shreds. She lost 10 pounds and 8 inches. I mean, the power of cutting gluten and dairy from your diet. My dad lost, I think, 30 pounds over like 2 shreds. So it's powerful what whole food nutrition and eliminating things that aren't serving you and adding the things that do. So if you have questions about that, you can ask Candace. And if you struggle with anxiety or depression, I created a amazing guide just for my personal experiences of the things that I did as I walked that road. And if you know somebody that would be encouraged by it, or maybe you would be, I will share it with Candace and she would love to share it with you. So thanks for being here tonight, guys. I hope the information blessed you and you are empowered to make a decision to better your health. So we love you guys and thanks for showing up.
And I just want to say, Abby doesn't need to send it to me, because if you actually go to the Bloomability movement on Facebook, even putting aside the guide that she's created, she is an amazing person to follow. You should just check out some of her content that she kind of just shares through her journey. So you should definitely go both routes with that as well. But I won't keep everyone too much longer. I am here. I'm always around. I definitely will follow up with everyone and see if there's any questions or if I can help in any other way. But really, truthfully, just want to say thank you to Terri and to Abby for taking some time out of their day to share their stories. And then, of course, as I said in the beginning, thank you to all of you guys for taking some time. I got emotional seeing some faces I haven't seen in a long time. So it's just awesome, the support that I have. And I thank God every day for that. So thank you guys for being such a blessing. And I will talk with you guys soon.
Bye.
Good night.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Thank you. Good
Bye.
night. Thank you.